What are the admission requirements for international students?
International students have a lot of admission requirements. They really vary based on whether they're graduate, whether they're undergraduate, and also what country they come from. They have to basically satisfy all the same requirements that domestic students do.
If an international student passes the TOEFL exam, are they still required to take the other standardized tests that domestic students are required to take?
Absolutely. A student could score really, really high on a TOEFL exam, but that doesn't waive them from any of the other domestic tests. The speak test is something that any graduate student who is going to be teaching, so basically that's primarily students who are going to be graduate teaching assistants or teaching associates, they are required to take it prior to being able to teach that class. If a student scores 28 or higher on the speak portion of the internet-based TOEFL, they could be waived from the speak exam. Another way that they could get a waiver for the speak exam is if they come from a country where English is a native language, or if they studied in an education system where their instruction was primarily in English, or also if they earned a previous degree from an accredited U.S. institution.
Why were you required to take the speak exam?
Well, I'm actually doing my MBA here, and in order to continue with this program, you have to take the exam.
How did you prepare for the speak exam?
I didn't prepare for it. I just went there and took it.
So how do you think the test went?
I think it went pretty good. I haven't gotten the results yet, but so far, I'm feeling good about it.
They're struggling a lot in the beginning as far as culture is concerned. Even though they've all taken the TOEFL exam, and if the TOEFL proves that they're proficient in English, it doesn't mean that they're going to have an easy time adjusting, because they have a hard time understanding the language. When they first come here, the accent is really, really difficult for them to understand. Also, I've heard students tell me that people in this country speak very fast. And they roll their words, so they have a really hard time, understanding what they're trying to tell them. So I think those are the types of struggles that internationals face a lot.
What are some of the biggest problems you've faced while studying here in the United States?
My biggest problem is getting used to the American education system. Basically taking tests every other week and assignments every other week. I'm used to the British education system back in India. We at most have like 4 tests or 4 exams for the whole academic year. That's my biggest problem, getting used to.
Challenge I really faced was personal space. I come from a culture where we don't have any personal space, and this is something that I struggle with even today. Like I'll visit someone in a department for a meeting, and I won't realize that I got too close, and I'll suddenly notice someone taking steps backwards. I surrounded myself with a lot of American friends, and my roommates were always American, and I dated American people, and I think that just made me really get used to the language really, really fast, and it's just, I really think that I didn't give out my culture more. I actually assimilated the American culture more. I think my general experience in the U.S. has been, if you really want to survive and succeed, you're going to have to blend in. We just recently started a mentoring program. And the whole purpose of the mentoring program was to pair an international student with a UCF faculty or staff member, who's been here for a little while, and it's been a pretty good success. We have a very small group of about 15 to 20 mentors and mentees that we've been able to match up, and they commit for a year, and they pretty much, the mentor serves as a resource for anything and everything. I've had students who just primarily wanted a mentor to just be able to practice their English with, and they do that. They will go and, talk to the mentor, call them, email them. It just allows them to practice their language a little bit better. The English language program next door also offers something called Conversation Hour. This is where, I want to say it's every week or every other week, for a couple of hours they'll have people who are native English speakers come in and talk to the international students around the table, and they'll just rotate, move to different spots, in the room, and just kind of have a conversation with people. As an immigration advisor, I was the person that the students would come to once they arrived here in the country. The immigration advisor's role is primarily to make sure that the students are doing everything they need to be doing to maintain their legal status because of their visa. So students have to come into an advisor for pretty much anything and everything. They have to come if they change their name.
Are the services provided by UCF effective, and if so, what resources have helped you?
Yeah, they're very effective. They have English tutors available on campus, and they have beginner English courses for students whose first language is English.